All right, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm mad, and I don't know. This video is gonna be kind of different. This is gonna be a little bit different. Usually, I do have like a script written out so I can stay focused because I will get sidetracked whenever I do rants. But I'm gonna try my hardest to not get sidetracked and to not like lose focus. If you haven't known already, we did get an announcement for a PS5 Pro like a few days ago. And it hasn't really been sitting with me well. I think that for the most part, Sony is looking like they're gonna keep doing, like they're going down like the mobile phone route a little bit, you know, where like they'll kind of just drop shit just because, even though nobody really needs it. Like, understandably, it makes sense with phones though, because phones are something that you actually will use in today's society all the time. Not saying that video game consoles you aren't, but with phones, it makes sense why they drop a new phone every year, because they're not trying to get the person that got the newest phone last year. They're trying to get the person that got that phone 4 years ago, and they're trying to like look for an upgrade. You know what I'm saying? So it makes sense in that regard. With Sony though, with game consoles, it's a little bit different. We already have a PS5, right? That came out supposedly 4 years ago, which honestly it doesn't even make sense to me, because I thought that it came out like a year or two ago. Like, I know it obviously didn't, but like that's how short the time that was my PS5 has felt, because I've barely touched that console at all. You know, I feel like a lot of these like games that they do drop end up dropping on PC, since I do have a PC, so it does feel like I'm not really like the target demographic for the PS5 Pro, unless like they were wanting to gift me one just for free. Like, you know, then all right, cool, I could do like a little demonstration if y'all wanted, but you know, that's besides the point. For the average like person, the PS5 Pro really isn't necessary. If you already have a PS5, you might as well just keep that. You know, obviously a lot of storage space is very, very tempting to wanting to buy it, but you could just go ahead and buy an external hard drive if you really wanted to, or external SSD. You know, if you really, really wanted to like upgrade your PS5, it is possible without having to spend a whole like $700 and then also spend extra money on the disk drive and then also on the stand. Like, it doesn't, there's a lot of things that are like extras that should be like base attachment or be bundled with it that are just not bundled with it, which means you also have to pay more on the tax when you do end up buying those items, you know? So to me, it does feel like really scummy when Sony, or like seeing Sony do this right now, because as of right now, they don't really need it. From what I'm hearing, right, the amount of PS4s and PS5s are like the same. Like, the people that own it are like the same amount, like 46 million, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if that's in the States. I gotta like fact check that real quick. But from what I understand, Sony has a lot of people in a chokehold when it comes to video games, right? And I do think it's because they don't have any type of like competition. Xbox is sort of in a weird space right now where it's like they're not really trying to, you know, advance their like sales of their own console. A lot of times they're trying to do Game Pass, and then they'll have PC Game Pass and then the Xbox Game Pass, which are, I think, two different things. Not really that well versed on like the Microsoft end, but it does feel like to me Sony does not have anybody to check them really. And then you could say, well, what about Nintendo? But Nintendo isn't really trying to compete with anybody. They're in their own lane. That's why they're so successful. They know what their target demographic is. Sony does too, but I feel like they know them a little bit, and I know this is gonna sound crazy, they know them a little bit too well, because they know that, yeah, the fucking hardest core of Sony fanboys are gonna go and buy that PS5 Pro, buy that separate disc and stand, and also they're gonna come to the offices immediately and jerk every single one of us off for free. Like that, they know that the fucking average Sony fanboy is gonna want to buy this shit. But I know my friends that are like, yeah, bro, this shit's ass. Anyways, I'm getting mine in November. Like, what do you mean by that? Like, I'm like, what do you mean? But I mean, it's fine. You know, if you got the money, then go ahead and do it. Like, if you got the expendable or exposable income, you know, like to just go ahead and, you know, buy whatever fucking console you want, then go ahead. More power to you. It does just feel scummy of Sony, you know, like, and it does feel like right now they're in a league of their own. And nobody's gonna really be able to like tell them like, hey, you can't do this, because obviously they can, you know? And they're not gonna really, you know, change their ways or like change, you know, their minds on something like this until some other company is able to show them like, hey, we were able to do more with less. And that's another thing too. More with less is another thing that I wanted to bring up, because lately, and also I did watch Maximilian Dude's video about the PS5 Pro, and what he brought up was actually very, very interesting about the diminishing returns of games. Like, you can make games look, or you can only make games look so good, you know? If you don't know already, diminishing returns is like, okay, how much effort are you putting in just to make something like look how much better? And when they showed like the side-by-side of The Last of Us, and then The Last of Us on the PS5 and then Last of Us on the PS5 Pro, I was like, what's the fucking difference? Like none of that shit looks different. And especially with realistic games, it's really, really hard for things to look more realistic than what it already is. Like, I mean, you could obviously like go further, but we don't have the technology to go that much farther, you know? So like, you're making all these like graphical updates and you're using AI to like upscale certain like graphics, but it doesn't really do much for the average person. Like, the average person isn't gonna really be able to look and be like, yeah, that's 30 frames. Yeah, that's 60 frames. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Now, I know, like, for the gamers, of course, they will be able to. That's why I'm saying, like, this is like definitely a console for hardcore gamers. But even then, don't the hardcore gamers have a PC anyway? So like I said, who is this really for? Probably content creators, you know? Probably for people that are like so like against buying a PC, or they love their PlayStation so much that they will go ahead and buy a PS5 Pro. But average Joe, like little Timmy, like, you think his mom's gonna be like, yeah, I'll buy you a $700 fucking like PlayStation? Like, no, little Timmy, tough luck, bro. Like, you're like, go sit over there. You're not gonna get your fucking PlayStation. You're gonna get like what? Some clothes, some socks, and maybe a couple books from your uncle, and that's it. Like, you ain't getting a $700 fucking PS5, bro. Like, and which is why I do feel like the price point does matter so much, because I do understand that before, like, I think the PS3 was same price or around that. So I do get it. Like, obviously this is like a premium console. It did just recently come out, or and it's not even out yet. It's going to come out. So I understand that it being new and it being like a premium pro version will kind of warrant the price. But there's still the same amount of games on it as before, you know, and they haven't really shown me any games that play so much differently than before. Like, DMC5 is still gonna probably look the exact same. The only ones that are gonna probably be different are Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Final Fantasy VII 16, because obviously when you look at the PS5 version and then you look at the PC version, the PC version is obviously gonna be better depending on what build that you do end up having, obviously, right? So those are like the only two games, but not everybody wants to play fucking Final Fantasy 16 or Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or any Final Fantasy game, to be honest. A lot of people that have PlayStations are playing Call of Duty. They're playing fucking I don't even know what's that one new game, the Astrobot game. You know, that's actually a good game. You know, it looks pretty good. And maybe like Monster Hunter. I don't know. Like, a lot of these games that they're saying are gonna get upgraded, the majority of their fan base don't really play like often. You know, like, they'll play them once and they'll be like, that's it. I'm not gonna go back buy a PS5 Pro just to play The Last of Us again for, you know, other stuff. Like, okay, like if you're playing like a long ass RPG, then maybe you want to go back and see what it looks like. But even then, regardless, it's like, bro, if you already beat the game, like, are you really gonna want to play the game again? I mean, unless you really love that fucking game, then sure. Like I said, average Joe though is probably not gonna buy for that reason. I don't know, man. It's really weird. I want Nintendo to just drop that fucking console already. I am hearing rumors that Nintendo is going to, you know, put something out within the next couple months or so, because, hey, look, by March of 2025 the console should have been announced by then, so they really aren't going to have that much more time. But I do feel like Sony kind of putting this out is going to make it like easier for Nintendo to gauge our reactions and to look at like what we are thinking, you know, about Sony's price points, and then also like what they're offering in it, because a lot of times nothing that anybody gives out is even worth it. Like, the new iPhone is probably not worth it, like I said, unless you didn't have it before. If you only have a PS4, or I don't even know who still has just the PS3. Somebody probably does, but maybe that's like a worth upgrade, you know, if you really wanted something like that. But if you want everything to come with it, like disk drive and stand and everything, that's like almost $900 fucking dollars, and then with tax it is over 900. So to me, it's just like, it's just very predatory. But I get it though, like, you know, Sony has to find a way to recoup from, you know, all these fucking like high quality like hardware that they're making, which I'm pretty sure is super fucking expensive. So they gotta fucking make a slightly better version just to make more money off of it. You know, I'm pretty sure the PS5 Pro is gonna sell okay, like decently, but I just hope, in my opinion, we need to just not buy it. Just so that way they could be like, damn, we shouldn't have released this right now. We should have waited. Because I still feel like there's no games that Sony has released personally that like requires this. Like zero. Like from Sony at least, you know, it feels like there's none. They need to release a little bit more like IPs that are specifically for Sony. You know, I know God of War and God of War Ragnarok are going to be on our PS5 only, but wait, I thought God of War was on PC too. So it's like they keep bringing their games to PC, which is fine. I get it, but I'm of the part where it's like, if you want me to buy your console or use your console, then keep that shit on the said console. So then that way, you know, I can feel like it's worth having your console. Because then if not, then I'm like, man, I might as well wait a whole year for said game to come out and then just play it on PC, you know? I don't mind waiting, personally. And that's why I'm like, console-wise, Nintendo is probably gonna be like the only one where it's worth buying a console like day one, quote unquote, because, you know, that game is never coming to PC. Like Nintendo games are never coming to PC, like ever. So that's like the only way. And Xbox games are always on PC, so that's why I'm like definitely not getting a fucking Xbox. But I get it though. Xboxes or consoles in general are for people that want to be more comfortable. I know not everybody wants to fucking sit on a gaming chair for 8 hours or whatever. They can want to sit on their bed, their couch, whatever, lay up on whatever the fuck, and then, you know, like set it up that way. But I've been ranting for like 12 fucking minutes. I don't know. I'm just annoyed. I'm annoyed by the what's the word? I'm just annoyed by how the audacity, sorry, I can't think of words. The audacity that Sony has to like, yeah, fuck it, nobody's gonna check us. But the thing is, yeah, they're true. Who's gonna check them? Nintendo's not gonna check them. People think that Nintendo's are like baby games, which is like fine, you know, whatever, I don't care, you know. But I'm just kind of like, man, like where's the soul at? Where's the heart? You know, they just released a fucking game that they wanted it to be live service that dropped with like what, 5 concurrent players or some shit. I don't fucking know. Like Concord literally died in less than 2 weeks, bro. I didn't even get time to see the fucking gameplay. And it's like, what are they genuinely doing over there? Like at Sony headquarters? Like what is going on? Like I don't know. Anyways, okay, I could go on for fucking ever about Sony and shit. I just wanted to kind of like let my thoughts out a little bit about what's going on. I could have structured this a little bit better, but I wanted to see like I just wanted to rant. Like I'm gonna be honest, like there's no way I would have been able to get everything out like the way I wanted to. But hey, fuck Sony. Just kidding. If y'all want to give me some console or, you know, some free games, you know, go ahead. But it's not like y'all even make games like that anyways, though. It's mainly the other people that make the games. But I'll see you guys in the next video. You know, hopefully by then, well, by the next video, probably not, but hopefully within the next month, we see some news from the new Nintendo Switch. Hopefully, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. Not me. Who knows? All right, peace out.